Hey guys, welcome back for another Baker Built Sexy Time tip of the week. Today I'm going to be talking a little bit about your TFL and how that relates to your IT band. So the TFL muscle, or tensor fasciae lata, it sits right here kind of just to the front of the hip, almost kind of at a straight on to 45-degree angle roughly, right about here. In order to find it, what you can do is if you're sitting on the ground, you can place your hand right here and find kind of the soft muscle mass, and then if you lift your leg up on the outside, when you feel the muscle contract, that's the TFL right there. So then you'll have found it. Usually this has a pretty big effect on your IT band, which runs right on the outside of your leg, attaches at the hip, comes all the way down, attaches to the outside of the knee and the top of the shin bone there. What usually happens for a lot of people when we sit all day, or if you're a really active runner, you have like sort of one modality of movement that you do a lot, it's highly repetitive. This muscle tends to get very tight, and it's also often very weak too. So that's two things that can be wrong with it that can contribute to things like pain in your knee, can contribute to some dysfunction in the hips, even possibly your ankles. What I'm going to talk about today is two ways that you can release that muscle. Or a third one too. Another good way is just doing some self-massage with your hand. But today we're mostly going to focus on something you can do with some certain tools. Now, the first one we'll talk about is the foam roller. The foam roller is pretty easy, and it's kind of my favorite because this is such an odd angle to try to like roll on top of something. I find the foam roller is a bit more stable. So what I will normally do is lay the foam roller down. I will lay across it. I usually lean a little bit forward. If this is a really tight, sensitive muscle, you'll know as soon as you hit it. But it also could take a little bit of work to find. Once I get it, I'm just going to roll up and down and kind of roll forward and back on it. If you find your foam roller is too soft, you can always use something a little bit firmer. If it's too hard, you can always go with something a little bit softer. You always want to have the discomfort level, if it's on a scale of 1 to 10, you want to have it at about a 6. To go any higher than that, your body just kind of winds up guarding around it, and that's counterproductive to what we're trying to do. You can also, while I'm in this position, I can also move my leg, I can work it up and down, kind of work the joint a little bit to get into that muscle. If I don't want to use the foam roller, or if I don't have one handy and I do have my lacrosse ball, you can do the same thing with this. It's going to take a little bit more work to keep that ball in place, but if you pin it properly, it's not going anywhere. So, same thing, I'm going to look for that TFL. Once I've found it, I'm then going to kind of roll up and down, and also forward and back at different intervals. I can flex the muscle, really squeeze the hip, and then hold that for 5 seconds, and then relax for 10. Just kind of press into that a little bit harder. It's kind of hard to do any sort of movement with the knee and the hip, kind of going internal and external with it because of this angle I'm at. But just spending some time here can be really beneficial. And if the ground is a little bit too awkward, you can also do this with the ball against a wall as well, kind of pin it in there. And some people feel that gives them a little bit more control. What this is going to do, hopefully it's going to help loosen this up, and you'll ease the tension on your IT band, which will then help ease any pain you have in your knees or below that or up here around the hips. So give that a shot, guys. Let me know how it goes, and I'll talk to you guys next time.